Cruise in Review Podcast. I'm Blake.
And I'm Audrey.
That's Norris Frog, our executive producer. We're glad to have you with us for episode 4 of the Cruise in Review Podcast. Cruise and travel news that you can use. Just thought of that on the fly. You're very welcome.
That's pretty good.
Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel so you have all the latest information, videos from our travels, as well as the Cruise in Review Podcast. Make sure you can listen as well if you're on the go. Maybe you don't finish the podcast or you're traveling and don't want to access it on YouTube. You can listen to an audio-only version of our podcast on Apple, Amazon, Spotify, and Buzzsprout. Wherever you listen to your podcast, you can subscribe there as well. And you can also go to CruiseNReview.com/podcast to make sure that you can see all of our options, all of our latest episodes and previous episodes of the Cruise in Review Podcast. On today's episode, we are talking about St. Maarten.
Yes, that's one of your favorite stops and definitely one of my favorite stops too, but I know you get so excited every time we go there, so I'm excited to share some tips and things that we did and explore St. Maarten with you guys.
I do. I love St. Maarten. Also on the show, we'll announce the winner of our commission-free travel booking. We've been promoting that for the last few weeks, so the winner will finally be announced to the person that subscribed to both our YouTube channel and our news alert. So be sure to do that as well, CruiseNReview.com and our YouTube channel. We always tend to do giveaways based around subscriptions to things like that. And again, on today's episode, we are talking about St. Maarten. But first, let's get to our news of the week. Maybe not the best news in the world. If you're a big-time Carnival cruiser, they raised their gratuity prices by $1.50 per guest per day. Regular staterooms go from $14.50 to $16. Suites go from $16.50 to $18. That did take effect on April 1st. If you did prepay your gratuities prior to April 1st, it will be honored at the booked price of the previous time. That is the second time in a calendar year that gratuities have increased for Carnival Cruise Lines. They did that the first time in May of 2022. It's kind of a catch-22 on raised gratuity prices because it does increase crew pay, which increases retention, which leads to better staffing, which can be an issue on certain cruise lines.
Yeah, you can't blame them. I mean, the stateroom attendants, the bar service, I mean, everybody works so hard on those vacations to make sure you're having a great time. So you definitely can't blame Carnival, but at the same time, you're like, man, you know, it did go up. One more thing you got to pay, but golly, I mean, I can't blame them because they're finding it really hard to keep those cruise ships staffed. I feel like nowadays.
Yeah, if you've been on one lately, that tends to be an ongoing theme, which is an ongoing theme around the world in general. So, pay for them.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you want good, you want good service. You have to pay for it. Yeah. So that's just part of it.
Yeah.
And we are part of the pay when you go on the cruise.
Yeah, 100%. So can't blame them there. Can't blame them.
Yeah. They are at just industry standard, though. So it's not really, they're not any higher than anybody else. And all the other cruise lines have basically raised their gratuities at some point over the last year or two. So Carnival's just trying to get the industry standard there and pay their staff.
Yeah.
Just a reasonable amount for what they do for the guests. Royal Caribbean has announced bars and nightlife on board Icon of the Sea. So more and more, we're learning more and more about this brand new revolutionary cruise ship by Royal Caribbean. Multiple new venues announced, dueling pianos.
Oh, I'm excited about that.
Oh, that'll be fun. That'll be a really fun one. Yeah, Lou's Jazz and Blues. If you like jazz, maybe hear a little jazz flute. The Overlook and Overlook Pods. So the new Aquadome, as they are calling it, has this panoramic view of the ocean, and these aquapods are going to overlook this panoramic view. Some of them are elevated. Some of them are just down on the ground floor, so they're utilizing that space. 1400 Lobby Bar, which is, I'm going to guess, a new take on probably what was the R Bar, which was in the Centrum. Bubbles, which I'm assuming is a champagne bar.
Yeah. Yes.
Point and Feather. And then some of the favorites are returning. One of our favorites, the Schooner Bar.
Yes.
Another one of our favorites that is only on a few ships, but Playmakers Sports Bar. Boleros.
Yeah.
You can do the
Latino.
Casa Doble. And Trellis also is coming back. That is a one that's in Central Park. It's kind of a little wine bar in Central Park. New take on that. Over 40 different options to dine, drink, and be entertained. Not all of them have been completely announced yet. And, of course, Icon of the Seas launches in January 2024. Cruise in Review will be sailing February 10th, 2024.
Yes, and I can't wait to go to some of these new bars that they've come out with. Now I know another one they talked about was the Attic. I remember the Attic.
It is coming back.
Yes,
it
it's
has
coming
been
back.
taken off of most ships. Now it's coming back.
So that's going to be a cool one too. But I can't wait to. I mean, I think Blake and I are going to set a goal to try to go to every bar, every place on this cruise ship. We're going to make a list, and we're going to just knock them out as we go, one by one. This is going to be my look
after I've gone to all 4
days. Yeah. So stay tuned.
It's going to be me walking back in the room.
Please make sure you continue to stay tuned because it's going to be a fun time. But, I want to take a nod to Royal Caribbean's marketing with Icon of the Seas because we're two marketing people. Mm-hmm. And I absolutely love every time they release something new, it's called Making an Icon. Yes. And I think that, I don't know who came up with that, but hats off to them because that's pretty cool.
Yeah, they've done a good job. And more is being released. Mm-hmm. We still don't know fully on specialty restaurants. That's one we'll be looking forward to, I would imagine. I mean, we're less than a year from launch. We've already had float out. I'm assuming we'll start hearing, but specialty restaurants will probably be the next big announcement for Icon of the Seas. Really, really looking forward to that. And again, you'll see all about it February 10th, 2024. CruiseNReview will be there. Norse Frog will be there. Yes. It will be great. But today we are talking about St. Maarten, one of our favorites. And if you missed our previous episodes, I called St. Thomas and St. Maarten the gateways to the Eastern and Southern Caribbean. And the reason I say that, most cruises go there. But to me, it's where when you start getting into those islands, you're starting to access what I call that different feel. Beauty, mountains, all the terrain, the water, the beaches, the sand, the people, the culture, everything is there. And St. Maarten, for a long time now, has been one of my favorite destinations.
Yeah, absolutely. Like you said, very mountainous. It's a gorgeous island. It's got gorgeous beaches, and there's more than one gorgeous beach in St. Maarten. We've been to a couple of beaches there. We're going to talk about them. But the food is great. The people are friendly. There's stuff to do within walking distance of the ship. There's stuff to do if you want to take a short excursion. I mean, there's a little bit for everybody. There's shopping, great shopping. St. Maarten is a great port. So I'm excited to kind of go into more detail here, but it's definitely one of our favorites.
About St. Maarten, it is half Dutch and half French. Ships dock into Philipsburg, and so that is the Dutch side. Philipsburg is the Dutch capital of St. Maarten, and then the other side is French St. Maarten. And so you can get two different things going on there. It's known for beautiful beaches, great culture, great food, friendly people. And it, again, has been affectionately labeled by me, I'm not an expert, but as one of the gateways to the Eastern and Southern Caribbean, and a staple on a lot of those cruises. Some of the things to do, travel to French St. Maarten if you're landing on a cruise ship. A lot of times we talk from the standpoint of cruisers, but if you fly into there, you may be staying on the French side. Orient Beach, you may have heard of Orient Beach. Not only is it one of the top beaches in the world, it is also a nude beach. Part of it is. Yeah. Now, keep in mind that most beaches in St. Maarten on the French side of St. Maarten are topless. Almost all of them are topless. But there's a portion of Orient Beach that is fully nude. And when we say fully nude, we mean fully nude.
Yeah, 100%.
Do not be surprised. And there's a sign there that says no cameras, no photography, nothing like that. That is your point of entry to the nude beach. Now, Orient Beach is absent the nudity. It is a beautiful beach, one of the top beaches in the world.
Yes.
And there is half of it that is family friendly, but do not be surprised if you're on Orient Beach and there's a topless person walking down the beach.
Yeah.
Topless could be relative because I walk around topless, and that may be horrifying to most people. And in fact, I'm sure it is. I've walked down the beach. There's been mothers covering their children's eyes. It's just so bad. But you will most likely in French St. Maarten see somebody topless.
Male and female.
Male and female.
Male and female.
Better or worse. But it is a beautiful beach. But just I feel like I need to tell people that because I've told people to go there, and they're like, "Oh, we didn't go to the nude beach, but there was somebody walking around, topless." And I'm like, "Well, that's French St. Maarten. It's in a lot of cultures around the world. That's not that big of a deal. So it's not a big deal to you. It's not a big deal to them. But don't take pictures. Don't do anything like that. Yeah. If you go to the nude beach, just be fully prepared. And if you would love some great stories of that, I can tell you separately. Just contact us. I'll be happy to tell you. Just plenty of great stories of things that we have seen over there. But no, we have not gotten naked on the nude beach. We have been there. We have not gotten naked on the nude beach. I have gotten topless. I've never gotten naked.
I have not
on the nude beach.
Blake's been topless.
I have.
Blake only.
I have.
And Norse Frog.
Yes, Norse Frog does. Yes.
His little swim trunks.
Yeah, he looks nice. He's got on his little bow tie today.
Yes.
He's good to go. Also, Maho Bay. Now, you may have seen this. That is the beach where the airplanes take off and land very close to the beach. See people up by the fence and the jet blast is coming. Don't do that. That is very, very dangerous. You can get hit with a rock. You can get hit with all kinds of things. There's multiple ER visits almost on the daily because people get hit with things over there. But the cool thing is when the planes land, it looks like you could reach out and touch their landing gear as they're coming in.
Yeah.
So that's Maho Bay Beach. The beach at Maho Bay is very, very small, but you can actually take boat tours that will come out and park out in the harbor. We did that one time and watched the airplanes come in. If you've never done that, that's a really, really fun experience in St. Martin.
That particular excursion, they provided, you could do a snorkel. They had snorkel gear, but then they also provided those like floatable inner tubes. They had those little pool noodles, and you could just hang out. And then the guide was coming over the intercom with
he was on FlightAware.
Yeah, with the FlightAware information that told you where that plane was coming from and where or if it was taken off, where it was going. So that was pretty cool. And they had, of course, drinks and food too. So if you've never done that particular short excursion, I thought it was great. We had a great time when we did that one. So definitely a fun St. Martin experience.
Yeah, it's really a lot of fun. And if you're an airplane nerd like me, I love watching the airplanes, the different types of airplanes come in and land. It's really, really fun. So Maho Bay, a lot of people have seen that. They don't know where that's at. It's in St. Martin. It's at Maho Bay. You can get in a taxi and go over there. My recommendation, get on, because the beach is really small. Get in, take a ship tour that will take you over there, or take a private catamaran tour or something like that, and go see Maho Bay. Beautiful, beautiful place.
Yeah.
Also, you can get to Anguilla from St. Martin. We've not actually done that one. That one's on the list, maybe for the next trip down. We may have to do that on the Icon cruise, possibly. Try to go to Anguilla. You may have heard of Anguilla. It's beautiful there. It's not as inhabited and as populous as St. Martin. You can go there. Jimmy Buffett, I think, did a live concert, has a live album from Anguilla.
Nice.
It's a beautiful place, but you can actually get there from St. Martin. So if you're traveling to stay there, you could just hop on over to Anguilla, or you could take a boat tour over there. I've not seen that on any of our ships as an excursion option, but you can create your own experience depending on how much time you have in port. And of course, what we're going to talk about today is Great Bay Beach, which is right off of the cruise pier, right in the hub of Phillipsburg. And it is a beautiful beach with a ton of food and a ton of options. And that's where we went on our most recent stop in St. Martin.
Yeah, and it was great because you can walk to it. So, you're kind of on your own leisure time. You get off the ship when you want to get off, and you get back on when you want to get back on. It's a short, how long would you say?
10 to 15 minutes.
Yeah, so not a long, hard walk. And we got our towels, and we took off walking towards that beach. And there's lots of restaurants and places to get drinks along the way. There's shopping on that beach, and there's chairs and umbrellas. I mean, it's a great place to just go hang out if you want something, a more relaxed day, I would say. It was definitely a more relaxed day.
And all of the ships dock in the same place in St. Martin. There could be 6 ships there, depending on what time of year you're there. But when you leave the port, you just simply walk out and take a left and start walking down the sidewalk. There'll be a lot of people going that way. It's very safe. It's right by the road, but they've got barriers blocked off there so you can't get out in the road and kind of protect you from the traffic. You're going to walk probably the first 5 minutes. It's going to look kind of industrial when you're walking. And then after that, you start getting into the entrance into Great Bay. That's where you start seeing your vendors. That's where you start seeing your restaurants. There'll be places to grab some water. There'll be places to, some souvenirs. Then as you go to enter, you will actually be met by vendors. Now, in some places, you want to steer clear of the vendors. That's not always, depending on where you've been. I think of Jamaica, places like that. These people in St. Martin, they're going to come up and they're going to say, hey, you can get free Wi-Fi, a few free drinks, and a beach chair for, $40 or however much it was. I believe ours was $40. We got an umbrella, 2 chairs, access to the restaurant Wi-Fi, and drinks. And what it is they work for the restaurants that are right behind the beach, and you're seeing some of that right now. And what it is they actually work there. So you're just basically buying your chairs from the restaurant. They're giving you access to their Wi-Fi. They'll tell you the Wi-Fi code if that's important to you. A lot of the crew really like that. And then they're also offering you drinks from the restaurant, and then you can patronize their restaurant, their bathrooms, everything else. Well, go ahead and do that. When they walk up, they'll take you right to a chair. They'll pick you at a great spot. They'll get your umbrella set up, and then they'll get you your first round of drinks going. Yeah. You just give them the money, and off they go. And the best thing about this is, again, it's a 10 or 15-minute walk. Yeah. It is one of the prettier beaches there. Mm-hmm. It's got great sand. The water is very, very calm. Mm-hmm. And again, easy access to restrooms, restaurants. There's waiters that come out on the beach. Mm-hmm. It's great for kids. It's shallow, relatively shallow for a while. And again, no rolling waves. That's why we love Great Bay Beach.
Yeah, absolutely. And like Blake said, the waiters will come out and they'll bring lunch to you. If you don't want to go back up to the restaurant, you don't have to. They'll bring it out to you. And everyone is so friendly. I mean, I felt like that. The guy that took us to the chairs.
Arturo.
Yes. I mean, everybody that we kind of came across to that was a local in St. Maarten was very friendly. And the beach is great for kids. I always like the Bay beaches because there's not those rolling waves. With me being so much shorter than Blake, it definitely makes the experience a little easier for me to keep up with him when we're out in the water. But it's a gorgeous beach. They've got chairs, they've got umbrellas, so you can lay out if you want to. Out of all the beaches we went to, I didn't really consider this one a crowded beach. If you're somebody that likes to lay out in chairs,
there's a lot of people. Yeah. I mean, don't be confused that there's not a lot of people. It's just that they're spread out.
Yeah, there's a lot more space to spread out.
Yeah, they're spread out because it's a huge beach. Yeah. It's a mile and a half, wraps around. And if you don't like the first part, we were actually right there by like where we first walked in. And I didn't know if I'd like that or not. It ended up being fine. You could keep going until you find an area you like. But the restaurants we like are right there as soon as you come up to the beach. And you're right, though. It doesn't seem as crowded. If you want to lay on, if you're there's two different types of people. I may get, chest deep in the water, with a drink and stand there virtually all day unless I get out, to go get something to eat and something like that. I'm chest deep in the water. Don't want to move.
And reapply sunscreen.
Yeah. You got to reapply the sunscreen. Yes. Then there are people who would rather just lay and maybe get some sun. And you can do that there. It's a good place. We mentioned we'll talk about St. Lucia on the next episode, and we went to a beach that probably wasn't the best for that. No. But this one is really, really good. And what I love about it is because you did walk. You were only 10 to 15 minutes from the cruise terminal. You can really maximize your time on the island at Great Bay Beach. Yes,
and to me that's so important. You want to get as much time on that island as possible to feel like you really got a full day in St. Maarten, and you're not subject to the time the cruise ship wants to get you back, because normally they're about 2 hours. I mean, they get you back pretty early because they don't want to risk anything happening, which is great. That's definitely a good thing. But when you go out to this beach and you're kind of on your own, you can get out there when you want and you can stay as long as you want. And I definitely think we took full advantage of that, for sure.
Yeah, we got right about all aboard. Yeah. And there was we weren't the only people. There was a huge line of people waiting to get back on board. But don't underestimate, especially if it's a place you've been multiple times. There are things I want you to do the first time you go to St. Maarten, Maho Bay, go to Orient Beach, maybe look at Anguilla, go to French St. Maarten. But if you've been to a place multiple times, and I'm going to tell you, I like Great Bay Beach as well as any place I've been to in St. Maarten. I love the relaxed nature of it, especially on a port-intensive cruise like we were on, where we had a port every single day. So I love the relaxed nature of getting off the ship at our time. We had a 10 or 15-minute walk. We stayed as long as we wanted to. We knew exactly how long it was going to take to get back. We knew right where we were going. We had access to food, restaurants, drinks, Wi-Fi. It was safe, it was friendly, and it was clean. Do not sleep on beaches near the port, especially if it's a place like Great Bay Beach.
Yeah, absolutely. I 100% agree with that. And again, I know I've talked about this before. I also think it's cool that you can see the cruise ships too. So, you've got a great view. It's a gorgeous view right off the cruise port. I mean, you can't miss it. You really can't. I mean, if you have a snorkel planned one day, you're going on a hike the next day, but then you're going to St. Maarten on day 3. It's a great way to feel like you got a full day, but without, time to relax. I feel like this particular beach does allow for that.
And if you do want to do a ship tour, go do a ship tour. A lot of them are half day. So if you get either leave in the afternoon or you're coming back early, go down there.
Yeah.
That's how we found it.
Yeah.
We got back with about 3 hours to spare, and I've told you, we don't just get right back on the ship whenever our tour is done. If we've got some time and there's something to go do, we're going to go explore.
Yeah.
So we just took off walking, thinking, well, we'll run into something, and that's where we found it. And we said, hey, next time we're here, we're coming right to Great Bay, and that's exactly what we did, and we did not regret it.
Yep, that's where we found the coconut shrimp. They have great coconut shrimp. Highly recommend.
A crew member told us about the coconut shrimp.
Yeah.
We were walking down there, and she said, if you want coconut shrimp, go to that place right there.
Yeah.
We got that again. We got some
egg rolls.
I think I've got a picture of that. Yeah, we got some. What were they? They were some kind of. It wasn't like a normal egg roll.
No.
It was some kind of different egg roll. It was excellent.
No, so good.
Drinks were good. Staff was friendly. I walked
Yeah.
in, and I actually had a drink from a different restaurant. And people, especially in the United States, it'd be so standoffish. And where we live in Arkansas, in this county, that is as weird about alcohol as you could ever possibly imagine. Like you can't go to a store and buy it, but you can go to the bar,
Any bar,
anywhere,
Yeah.
and get it. But so anyway, when I walked in, and everything's open air there too. It's wonderful, and everybody's got sandy feet. It's just such a cool. You can see the beach from the restaurants, and
Yeah.
But anyway, we walk in, and I've got a drink, and it's from a different restaurant. And the lady walks up, she goes, "Hey, did you get that drink here?" And I was like, "Yeah, do I need to take it back out?" And she was like, "Oh, no, it's no big deal. I just didn't know if I needed to put it on your bill or not." And I said, "Oh, no, I didn't get it here." That's how friendly they were.
Yeah.
She wasn't. I was kind of like, "Ooh, sorry, I made a mistake." She was like, "Oh, no, I'm not mad. Like, just wanted to make sure, I didn't want to charge you for something you didn't have." And that they're so friendly there. And again, our waiter on the beach, his name was Arturo. And again, if you go to the first area you're in, he is probably going to be your waiter. It was excellent.
Yes.
He says he's there 6 days a week, and he works really, really hard. And I really got to talk to him, and we've got him on Facebook now. So if you want to holler at Arturo and figure out where he's working at, you can do that. I love to meet people like that, but do not sleep on Great Bay Beach in St. Maarten.
Nope, absolutely not. 10 out of 10. Highly recommend.
All right, so that's St. Maarten. Great, wonderful day. We got back on board, had a nice night, had a beautiful sail away, and we moved on into what was the next stop, which was St. Lucia. And we'll talk about that next week. But let's get on to our cruise of the week.
Yes.
So I found an interesting one. Transatlantics, maybe because of my infatuation as a young kid with Titanic, have always been something I wanted to do.
Yeah.
Did you know that you can actually do a 7-night transatlantic crossing?
No.
Did you know that? Most of them are 14 nights.
Yeah, I was going to say, most of them are long.
Most of them are repositioning cruises for Carnival, Royal Caribbean, Princess, all those. But you can actually do a 7-night crossing east or westbound on Cunard.
Huh.
Particularly the Queen Mary 2.
That's interesting.
So July 7th through the 14th, there is an eastbound transatlantic crossing that departs New York and arrives in Southampton. Kind of an old school route, right? Prices start at $9.99 per person. And then the cool part is since you only spent 7 days traveling, you could spend a few days in Europe around, Southampton's very near London. You could spend a few days around Europe after your cruise. And if you want to do it opposite, it does it both ways. You can actually do it coming back the other way, what they call a westbound, where you go to meet the ship in Southampton, and then you come the other way. And on the Queen Mary 2, which is a legacy ship, which is Cunard, which is owned by Carnival Corporation, but is legacy, goes all the way back to they merged with the White Star Line.
Yeah.
They were rivals there during the early 1900s, late 1800s, and it's classic fine dining, high-class cruising, and you can do a transatlantic to experience a crossing. Yeah. And then when you get there, you still have time because you didn't spend 14 days on the ship. You could spend time exploring around London. Did not really know you could do that until I started looking and found this.
Yeah.
And not a bad price, $9.99 per person. That's interior. But I just think that is a neat opportunity and like a cool way to get to Europe.
Yeah. Especially if you're kind of a nerd about cruising like we are, that's definitely a classic cruising route. And England is such a cool place. I got to spend 2 weeks there several years ago, but it's such a neat place. And so if you have any questions or want to do that, we could definitely help you find activities to do in London Southampton once you got there. So that's a great cruise. That's a really cool one.
Yeah. And it leaves July 7th through the 14th. There's also kind of a neat one on talking about the QM2. QM2 spent some time as the world's largest cruise ship for just a little bit before Oasis of the Seas knocked it off the throne. But the Queen Mary 2, actually, there's a cruise right before that. I was looking. It's like a 4th of July celebration cruise. Goes up to Boston, and you'll actually be in Boston Harbor on 4th of July. You stay overnight, catch the fireworks in Boston Harbor, and then you sail out early morning, which early morning sail out from Boston. You're going to have like the kind of the fog and the trees. So just keep in mind that, you know, you can do the 4th of July celebration. Haven't looked to see. Wonder if the Red Sox are at home during that 4th of July cruise. Hang on one second.
I don't know.
We're going to look it up right now. This is if you're in Jonesboro, it's a Trey Stafford special. Just look it up.
Yeah.
While you're doing it here. We're talking about the cruise. The cruise of the week is after this. Yes. So you could actually, if you want to do like a 2-week cruise, you could actually pair them up together. I don't know if this is going to start making noise or not, but we're going to do it. But see, this is where we talk about full experience travel. You stop in Boston, there's the fireworks. Could you possibly throw in a trip to Fenway and do it? We're about to tell you right now on the fly.
Yep.
They are at home.
Well, how cool would that be?
Yeah. They are at home.
You could go on a cruise,
so
catch a baseball game.
You get there early morning. They are at home. They play the Texas Rangers at 1:35. We may do this. We may actually do this.
CruiseNReview, stay tuned.
You could go to Fenway Park, historic Fenway Park at 1:35, and then you could come back, get on the ship in time to go see the fireworks in the harbor, stay on the ship overnight, and then you sail out the next morning and go to Newport. It also stops in, I think, St. John's, New Brunswick.
Oh, okay.
And then the next cruise is the transatlantic. So you could actually do all of that, appreciate American Independence Day, and then sail across the pond the next week and do that. Or you could just do one or the other. They're both 7-night cruises.
That's a pretty cool trip. Very unique trip. Something you don't get to do all the time. I mean,
you'd have never known about it.
No.
If Bucky Cruiser Dude didn't tell you about it. That's my new nickname for myself.
Bucky Cruiser Dude.
Bucky Cruiser Dude.
We'll have to write that down. I'm not going to remember that. I'm not going to remember that. Norse Frog.
I'm not going to remember it
Norse Frog, write that down.
Yeah, he's right on that. Hey, so we've been promoting for the last probably 3 weeks. We've been promoting a giveaway. It's a commission-free booking. What that means is if you subscribe to our YouTube channel and you subscribe to our news alerts, then we would give you our commission, a portion of our commission back, which is our portion back on a trip that you book with CruiseNReview. So could be the commission back depends on what you book. And we have our winner by random selection. Norse Frog has randomly generated. Drum roll, please. Joy to the world. Kristen Austin is the winner of our commission-free booking.
Congratulations, Kristen. That's awesome. We appreciate you subscribing and doing all the things that we're required to do to be entered to win this contest.
I wonder if she'll return the favor to do a commission-free house sale.
Oh.
No, I bet.
Probably not.
I bet not. No, that's not right. She's not doing that.
No.
I wouldn't do that.
She'd be like, you done lost your mind.
You lost your mind. You're giving me $100 back on a hotel room. You want a commission free.
No, yeah.
Congratulations, and thanks for following. Thanks for subscribing.
Yes.
Our early on people that have booked with us and that have watched us and supported us. This is a release and a hobby for us, and we are so appreciative of your support. Kristen's been one of those. So congratulations. You can get in contact with Audrey.
Yep.
And you can get that booking done, and you will get your commission back.
And that's for, like Blake said, we can do a cruise. We can do land vacations.
Hotel.
We can book the cruise of the week. Yep,
Disney. You can do either the Fenway trip or which I kind of semi-changed the cruise of the week on the fly, but no, or the 7-day transatlantic to Europe.
Yep, absolutely.
We can do all that and get your commission back. So
that's great.
Well, we have covered a lot in this show. We've come a long way. We've shared a few laughs. Talked about topless people.
Do you remember your nickname that you just came
Bucky Cruiser Dude.
Bucky Cruiser Dude. I'm not writing that down.
Kristen's won a commission-free booking. Next show's April 10th. You got to follow us on social. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube.
All the things.
All of those things. You can subscribe where you can listen. Now, you don't get to see the beautiful video you've seen, but you can listen to it in your car if you just want to think about cruising. Apple, Amazon, Buzzsprout, or Spotify podcasts. You can also follow Norris Frog.
Yes.
Hey, pull him up so everybody sees bow tie.
Yeah.
Go get him. Get him. We got 30 seconds.
No pressure.
No pressure. Not like we don't have time. There he is. His little bow tie. See? Oh, your hair.
Was caught. Thanks, mate. Thanks. Look at my bow tie.
He's got a bow tie. I like how he gets into the microphone like it's coming out of his mouth. So there's Norse Frog. I'm Blake.
I'm Norse Frog. And I'm Audrey.
Thanks for watching. We'll be back April 10th. Bye-bye for now.